morning, and welcome to Dynamic Connections. Dynamic Connections is a show that connects you, the audience, with businesses in your town and in your local communities. My name is Jeanette Travellini, and I'm the Executive Director for Connect 24 Business Alliance, which is your local Chamber of Commerce, who sponsors this show. So thanks for joining in to talk to us today. I am so excited to introduce you to the business that we're going to speak to today. Somebody that I've recently met, a friend for less than a year, but what a dynamic person, and she's really found a niche in this world that we need so badly. So let me introduce to you Rachel Corcoran. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Jeanette.
How are you today?
I'm good.
Well, Rachel started a business, and I'm going to tell you, she's going to tell you all about it, but before that, I want you to introduce your colleague that you brought with you, if you would.
Yes, this is Terry Sweeney. Terry's a certified occupational therapist assistant like myself, and I started a business called COTA Travel Assist.
Okay, so I just learned that COTA is like the initials you put after your name. When you're a doctor, you put MD. When you're an occupational therapist, you put COTA.
When you're a registered occupational therapist, you put OTR /L, and that's registered occupational therapist. Master's degree level schooling. Terry and I are assistant level, so certified occupational therapy assistant, and we're licensed, and we have our associate's degree.
Awesome, wonderful. Well, just tell me a little bit about what your business is about. Because when people see COTA Travel, sometimes they say to me, oh, is she a travel service or a travel agency? So clarify for everyone out there.
Yes, I'd be happy to. COTA Travel Assist is a company that is very close and dear to my heart. I started it because I worked my whole career as an occupational therapy assistant in skilled nursing facilities, and I saw people laying there and not enjoying life the way that they could be. And so I always wanted to do more, and I never knew how I could do that until I was at a point in my life where I needed to take some time to study for an exam, and I decided to do some personal care work and met an elderly couple and decided that I could help them in other ways besides just with their home care needs and personal care needs. I could help them travel, which is something that they really wanted to be able to do. So.
And something you like to do.
I do.
Yeah,
yes.
Which is awesome. That's great.
Yes.
And so, go ahead.
So when I started the business, it was kind of with that idea that we can improve quality of life through travel and leisure activities for people. As occupational therapy assistants, we have the skills to be able to assist people with their physical and cognitive impairments in the community, in their home, worldwide, anywhere.
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 Hear that? You go anywhere. That's awesome. So how did you get involved in this with Rachel, Terry?
Well, funny story. We've both been COTAs for over 20 years, and I happened to be online one day looking in LinkedIn, and I saw Rachel's profile, and she was looking for help. And I had done something very similar to that for a few years as well. Mm-hmm. And so we had a brief kind of 1 hour conversation, and then we met, and right after, I think it was pretty solid that after we had a talk and our experiences, we were on the same level, and so it just seemed to be like a very good fit.
Marriage made in heaven, as they say. That's great. That's great.
I would say so.
So
our team actually consists of other people as well. So when I first started, my husband and I incorporated the business in February of 21, and he's helped me with all my administration things and my payroll, trying to figure out all that stuff because I'm not really a business person. I'm more of a hands-on caregiver, therapist, people person. And then when I got started, I had 2 clinicians that I worked with at the nursing facility that I was employed at that kind of saw my dream evolve, and they were available to me to help pick up jobs as they came in.
How wonderful is that?
It was really quite a blessing.
It's like kismet, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they still have other jobs that they do, but that's kind of the beauty of the this business is we can employ occupational therapy and physical therapy assistants part-time basis, so they can still have their hands into the type of work that they want to do on a regular basis, and also do kind of this fun stuff on the side.
Yep, and it's a good thing that you have your husband, because people that start a business are passionate about their business, and sometimes you're working on your business, but you need to take care of the business part of the business.
Yeah.
And so she actually is married to somebody that I've known for a long time, since he was little. Seamus is a great guy, just a great couple. So exactly what do you do for Rachel, Terry?
Well, we do several different things. Primarily, we do patient transport and medical assistance, as far as drive them to medical appointments, where we can serve as the liaison, if you will, between rehab and other medical needs that they have. And then also we do different things such as companionship, and sometimes that might mean that we sit with them for an hour or two and allow them to have the opportunity to draw or paint or do activities that are meaningful to them.
Fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
That are one-on-one that maybe sometimes they can't get in a facility or at home, that they just need that person there to set them up and just to spend time with them.
Right,
So
right.
it's very meaningful.
Yes, and I'm not a healthcare person, so I could never do the healthcare part that you do. But the thing that really draws me to Rachel is that she always says things like, well, yeah, maybe you're 100 years old, but you still can have fun. And so that's the part that just excites me,
Yeah.
that you actually add the fun part into it. So tell us a little bit about a couple of people that you've taken to fun things.
Sure. So we have the ability to help people enjoy activities that they otherwise couldn't enjoy, or that it would be a lot of work for the family. So our favorite thing to do is weddings. And an example of a full weekend job that I had when I first started out was a man was living in the VA up in Maine. His daughter was getting married an hour and a half from the VA. We spent time before the trip talking with the whole medical team and his family to determine what the needs would be. And when I picked him up that day, he had his walker. I had a wheelchair with me. He had all his clothes, his medications, and we took a nice drive down. We got to the wedding. I got him dressed. We went to the bathroom, gave him his medication, and he was able to walk his daughter down the aisle. And then,
Makes me cry.
about an hour later, he says, "I'm ready to go." And so we went, and the family was so relieved that he could be there, and their time was not affected by when he came and left, and every need he had was met.
Yep. So you've been on many trips. You've even been across the pond. Yeah?
I have,
Yeah.
yes.
Do you want to share that, or no? You don't have to.
Sure, yeah, no, it wasn't really when I had my business started yet, but I have helped my mother-in-law in Morocco, visiting her son. My brother-in-law was in the Army at the time, and so she was not a good traveler. We talked to the doctor ahead of time to figure out what we could do to ease some of her anxieties, and so we medicated and had a nice trip over to, and then was able to accommodate her needs as she was not really feeling 100%, and was able to make sure that the whole trip was very smooth for her.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And I did know her mother-in-law, who's a lovely woman, and I'm sure she was so appreciative of it.
And
the
Terry's
time.
had some trips herself as well.
Oh, yeah. Want to
So-
share?
Sure. So some of the trips that I've been on, I was asked to bring someone from an assisted living and escort them on a plane to Texas.
Wow.
And so there's a little knowing of how the airlines work, how to transfer someone onto a plane that has a physical limitation, and then how to get them off. Accompany them, again, similar to Rachel, to weddings where you're the liaison. You bring them to the bathroom if they need to. You're basically their +1 through the whole time, which is so fun. And just to see them light up at a wedding. And the families are very grateful too, because they are they're not, their focus is still on the wedding and what their roles or responsibilities are, and you're the person to help them with that. But to circle back about bringing someone across the country, there are a lot of other things that you need to know about, as far as what type of plane they're getting on, where you're going to, layovers, and really trying to coordinate all of the background information and things that you need to know as a professional to get them on time, safe, from point A to point B.
Right.
And meet all their medical needs,
Correct.
what they may be.
Right.
Whether it's just monitoring or having to administer medication, all of those little pieces get figured out ahead of time.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So tell me about how you transport them. What do you have? A Subaru?
So, so the weddings and the trips are the really the very fun part of what we do. But we also are available for non-emergency medical transport, local doctor's appointments, and that's a huge business for us, because we do have 2 wheelchair accessible vans, and also the use of our own cars. With our skills as therapists, we really would rather use a regular car with somebody, have them do those car transfers, have them do some walking. It's a therapeutic experience for them when they're with us. If they cannot get out of their wheelchair, we absolutely, I'm more than happy to help them, and we have beautiful vans. One's named after my mother, Carol, and the other one's named after Seamus's mother, Karen.
That's great. I mean, I get excited whenever I see your van. I'm like, oh, there's Rachel. That's awesome. So let's can we go back a little bit to how people would be able to get in touch with you? I mean, are you affiliated with any nursing homes or hospitals or medical people or
Yep. So we
hotels?
we now have partnerships actually with 4 different skilled nursing facilities. However, my website is there for people to look at and then reach out to us that way. But I do a lot of networking. That's where I really get the crust of what people get to know me and what we have to offer. And so the National Aging in Place Council is one of the groups that I'm a member of, and that's a national group to kind of connect resources for seniors and provide, whatever resources in different states people need. And there's chapters all over the country. And then I'm also a member of the Senior Service Network of Boston South, which is a great group of professionals that provide for seniors in all different ways. And it's been really so fun to immerse myself in this community where I was working in skilled nursing facilities my whole career. I had no access to what those resources were and how we can utilize them to help people age in place, which is what the majority of people in this generation want to do.
And that's a good point that you brought up. I always say to myself, do people think down the road? Because we now, I mean personally me, but you're not as old as I am, but I'm a baby boomer, and that's not only are we the greatest generation, but we're the biggest in population. So were people thinking 10, 20 years ago, oh boy, they're going to get older and they're going to live longer because they're eating better and they're physically fit, more physically fit than the generation before, although my mother's 94 and she lives by herself, so she's she's all set. But were they thinking about all of the things that they would need, like you?
Well, transportation is a huge issue for the elder community. There's not enough transportation. There's not the right kind of transportation. There's a huge burden on families, and there's people not going to their doctor's appointments because they can't get there or it's too expensive to do so.
Right.
And
who's looking out for them? I mean, like my mom, I'm going to use her for an example. She's 94 and she doesn't have a computer. She has a hello phone. There's so many things that she'll ask me about, and I'll say, Mom, we can get that service for you if you want it. Well, especially that generation. It's like,
Right.
well, no, I don't need the service. Well, yeah, you do, and you can have it, kind of thing. I don't think they understand it, but I think our generation does,
Yeah.
and knows that there should be things out there for us. So when somebody maybe younger than me or somebody your age can reach out to people that are my age and a little older to say, yes, this is what I do, and this is what I can help you with. I think what you do is a spectacular business. I feel like I'm your mother. I'm so proud of you, for all of the wonderful things.
I
that
do
you've
feel the
done.
pride from both my Nana
Yes,
and my mom. They're both in heaven, and I was lucky enough to go through the hospice process with both of them and my grandfather at home, and
They were lucky enough.
it's a beautiful experience for everybody.
Right.
If the situation can be right, but it can't always be that way
Right.
for everybody, and I like to think that we can help make a positive impact at any stage of life, and
Right.
with whoever wants us.
So we talk a lot about the elderly right now. So what about somebody that's in their 30s or something and has a tragic accident, or maybe, I'm not the medical person, but, somebody that has suffered with cerebral palsy or something for their life and
Sure.
get to a point where they probably need a little help?
So my passion and my upbringing in occupational therapy was always with traumatic brain injury. So I work with the younger population normally.
Uh-huh.
And then that was kind of how I started my career, and then midway got more into geriatrics, and then was back into a skilled nursing facility that focused on neurobehavioral and traumatic brain injury. And there was also a lot of patients with Huntington's disease, which is a very severe symptomatic, there's a lot of physical and mental ailments that come along with it, and you get it usually in your 30s. It's a genetic disease. You sometimes know you're going to get it, and sometimes you don't. And then from that point, your life dramatically changes, and usually die in your late 50s, early 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And that population is very special to me as well. And also have a lot of strong ties with Parkinson's, and so these also can affect people in their younger ages. And so although I love working with elderly people and treating them like kings and queens, I definitely appreciate what we can do for the younger generation as well.
Right. And I think, too, that when we talk about the older generation, my mother's lucky she has visitors a lot. And then if she doesn't for a day or two, it's like, nobody comes to visit me. I'm like, Mom. So I think that just the attention that we pay to elderly people that maybe have been out of the workforce for 20 years. I mean, my mom closed her shop when she was like 87, and she's 94. So, not so long ago, I guess. But some people, retire a little bit earlier and then live a longer life. So I think that I've lost my whole train of thought what the question was going to be. So I think that they get happy, physically happy. I mean, right in front of your eyes.
Absolutely.
That you've come to see them, or maybe you brought them a donut, or maybe you just said, I had a few extra minutes, I wanted to pop in and say hello.
So we have these different facets of the company. We offer the transportation concierge, transportation assistance with a skilled companion.
Mm-hmm.
Then we also offer skilled companionship, where we can go in and help people identify goals. If you're feeling like life isn't worth living anymore, and
Yeah.
what's going on, why am I still here? Well, we,
My mother, yeah.
as occupational therapists, we have the ability to really build rapport quickly with people and assess, kind of what makes them tick, what makes them happy. And we can use standardized assessments for that. We can really get to know people, and then from there, figure out what are we going to do,
Right.
and
Yeah,
give more purpose to the time that you've left.
that's exactly right, the purpose. Fun and purpose, I always relate to you, fun and purpose. So how long have you been with Rachel, Terry?
I've been with Rachel since November of 2022. So
Okay, so not long.
a few months.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So you've given over some of your,
So Terry actually, being a COTA and a skilled nursing facility is a very challenging way to live.
yeah.
it can put lightly. So at one point in Terry's career, she also thought about doing some other things. And did you get your bachelor's in?
I got my bachelor's in healthcare administration. Yeah.
So I'm hoping to use some of those skills to be able to really work on building a sound foundation for a business that I feel is very needed and can grow immensely if we choose to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being able to use our level of profession for this type of work makes just so much sense. So if we can figure out how to really make it run smooth.
Yeah, there's a lot
You're
of
doing it.
opportunities for growth.
You're doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are.
I'm glad to hear you will be doing it. Yeah, because now when I first met her, she only had one van, and now she has two vans.
And my vans really, they were gifts from heaven, if I can be corny.
You can. Absolutely. They probably were.
I went looking for a wheelchair. When I first started the business, I said, well, this is why we're great. We can get people into cars. See, people that think they can't get into cars, we can get into cars. And then you can't get everybody into cars. And I wanted to be able to help everybody. So I went looking, and they're $50,000, $60,000 used at dealerships.
Yeah.
And my bubble was burst, and I gave a presentation kind of at the Avon Senior Center, and that in my presentation I speak of my mom who's in heaven and how she kind of helps guide things for my business. And that weekend coming up was her birthday, and I was given the opportunity to look at a van used. One owner bought it for his sister back in 2008 and had 30,000 miles on it.
Wow.
And he sold it to me for a very reasonable price.
Wow.
So that's Carol.
That's Carol.
That's Carol.
That's your mom.
And then I had a family that I helped. The father was 90 years old, amputee, in an electric wheelchair, and he wanted to go to his friend's memorial service in Greenwich, Connecticut. So the daughter wanted him to be able to go. She also wanted to go, but she didn't want to take care of him. So I used his wheelchair accessible van, packed him all up, spoke with his caregiver, figured out everything that he needs on a daily basis, and brought him to the hotel. We checked in. I had to actually adapt the room. The handicap accessible room was not accessible to him. So I moved furniture to make it accessible. And that's something OTs can do on the fly, you know, environmental modifications. So we got a comfy, we were supposed to have an adjoining room. They didn't have that for us either. I said, looks like we're sleeping together, Collier. And he got a kick out of that. So anyway, I took care of all of his needs, and we had a wonderful weekend in Greenwich. We went to dinner, we went to a nice park, we spent time with his daughter. And then the week later, she asked me if I'd bring him to their New Hampshire home. He hadn't been there in 8 years, and she just wanted him to have an opportunity there. So we went, and I made them dinner, which was another fascinating story.
Up and beyond. Beyond everything, yes, that would be you.
So he was struggling that night with some congestive heart failure. When we got back, I said to the daughter, you really need to get him to the doctors. I need to get him to the doctors.
Yeah.
He went, they admitted him. I got to bring him home on a Saturday. We wanted hospice to start on Monday. They were going to start Tuesday. He passed away. So then he ends up having a son who's in the hospital. The sister can't take care of anybody anymore. She's had
goodness.
it. And I ended up getting very involved with the son, helping him through his medical issues. He eventually passed. And I asked the family, would you mind gifting me this van for my business for a fee, but a fee that I could afford? And they were happy to.
That was wonderful.
So now I have two vans that were basically gifts from heaven.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Wonderful news. I hate to tell you, we have like a couple minutes left.
Jeanette, we could talk for hours.
We could talk for hours. I know. So talk about something that we haven't talked about that you want to say to the audience. Or if you have something, Terry.
I think the most important part of Rachel's business is the personality that we can bring to the business, that each of the therapists are very good about assessing the person's needs post, during, and after. so that there's a very smooth transition during the whole experience. And in my experience, the families that we work with are very, very grateful that this service is available. But a lot of people don't know that it's available, so I think that's the thing that we really want to solidify, is that her services are available. We have professionals that are doing this service, and we can act as the liaison between other medical professionals because we have that same background.
Right, and it's so funny because the person that I interviewed yesterday has a wonderful business, and it's like a hidden gem. And I don't want you to be a hidden gem. I want you to be out there and know. So, so I'm really happy to be able to, you know, as part of the Business Alliance, offer these kinds of things to people like you, because this needs to go on your website. This will be on YouTube. This will be on our website. So, so getting the word out is the biggest thing. And like we said before, you're working on your business, in your business, not on your business. Is that the right
Kind of both.
preposition?
Kind of both.
Because he's,
It's a
Seamus
happy
is doing all of
balance.
the, yeah.
Well, he's not. He's,
He's
not doing it all.
Oh, I need to
No.
call him up and say, why aren't you helping her?
My Seamus also works a full-time job, and
Right.
he's an operations manager for a large company and has a lot of responsibilities. So I do now also have a part-time personal assistant, Carmel,
Oh,
and
right.
she's wonderful. And we, you know, as we expand, there will be more office staff because that's not what I do.
Right, right. No, that's not your expertise. And certainly your partner in crime here isn't either. She's on with you. So yeah, we only have seconds left on this. So I want to thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
I know that you're going to be so successful. Someday I'll be looking down at you from heaven saying, go girl. Not tomorrow, I hope, though. So thank you everyone for tuning in and watching today. All the information about how to get in touch with Rachel at COTA Travel is on your screen, hopefully. And if not, you can just Google her, because she's got a website. And you could read all about her. And
It's www.cotatravel. Nope, sorry.
Oh.
www.cota.travel. And there's no .com. It's
Oh.
just .travel.
Travel.
well, thank you for coming on. And I just have one word for all of the audience out there. Please keep smiling, because it's contagious.